Shut up and sit down.
Welcome into another Red Out podcast. I am Jake.
Hey guys, how's it going? Devin here, and surprise guest from the towel rack, Matt McCay. How's it going, Matt?
What's up? It's good, man. How are you? Go Tops.
Yeah, it's going great. Coming off a big win with Ball State. First we're going to talk about winners and losers. Week, what is this, 3, 4?
It's week 4.
Okay, whatever it is.
It was week 4, as we're 1-3 now.
Yeah,
Sadly
we're 1-3. We're 1-3. Okay.
Yeah, before we get started, Matt, do you want to kind of plug your stuff, where people can find you on Twitter, the towel rack, Medium, all that good stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So, my name's Matt McCay. I work with Towel Rack. It's basically a blog that we write articles, just kind of fun stuff, and do recaps and all that stuff. So if y'all haven't checked us out, you can check us out at the Towel Rack WKU on Twitter. We have Facebook page as well. And my Twitter is at Matt McCay Agent. I'm an insurance agent. And you can find me on Facebook as well at Matt McCay. But anyway, yeah, it's life is good.
Yes, it is. Every day above ground's a good day, right?
That's right. It pays to have good insurance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hey, be sure you get that checked out.
That's right, yeah.
If we had business cards of yours, we'd pass them out too. Whatever you got to do.
I guess first, national winners, losers.
Yeah, let's talk about from the kind of big side. Who do we have?
ODU.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the biggest one to talk about right now. You got ODU beating Virginia Tech, and what was Virginia Tech ranked? Or were they ranked?
They were ranked.
Were they 13th?
Were they 16?
Yeah, they were top 20, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. After we got done watching the Ball State game, we played N64 for 13. There you go. We played N64 for 2 hours. So I did not watch a whole lot of college football outside of WKU this weekend. So full disclosure, my winner and loser was pretty nationally. Winner and loser being ODU and Virginia Tech.
Conference USA and National. ODU has to take that.
Well, who's your loser in Conference USA then?
Oh, you suck.
Everybody but the tops.
Yeah, I guess everybody but the tops. Because you got... I think everybody kind of assumed once ODU got beat by Liberty that it was going to be a simple... We're just going to run over ODU.
Gosh. Now you never know who's going to...
Yeah.
Who's going to pull it off, man? I mean, ODU out of nowhere, 0-3.
Yeah.
And then they just come out and beat a ranked team in the top 15. Like, what the heck?
Well, and it's so odd, though. ODU, for some reason, has this ability to pull home and homes with the Power Fives. And I was hearing another radio show talk about this, about how just where they're at in Norfolk, just people in Virginia, they'll come, like Virginia and Virginia Tech, they'll just come play them. And it's like, man, can we get... I mean, we had our shot against Louisville, but can we get some crap ACC teams to come to Smith Stadium? Wouldn't that be nice?
Can we get Duke?
Not this year.
Their stadium's not any bigger than Western's. It's about the same size.
Yeah. See, I've never been.
Yeah.
So why won't they come here?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got the money.
Yeah, we went to... Yeah. We were at VT. I forgot you were with us. When was that?
I came in... That was 08, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. That's been 10 years.
That was 09. I came in 09.
Yeah, but yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Matt, you said you were an equipment manager, right?
Yeah, I was an equipment manager from 09 to 14.
Yeah. So everybody should go check out his article today about the inside of the locker room. I read that when I had a minute at work today. This is some pretty interesting take on it. I liked it.
Yes, yeah.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, and
I was just throwing it out there, you sit there for 5 or 6 years of undergrad, and I was on the 6-year plan.
Hey, we all took victory laps. It was fine.
Yeah. Don't sweat the victory lap.
I hear you. But anyway, you kind of encounter some of that stuff, and like the first day on the job, you learn something new. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's a different level of understanding as soon as you walk into that locker room. So.
Yeah, and Matt actually, one of the equipment manager's jobs is kind of getting the laundry after the game, so he really got to experience all the emotions after games sometimes.
Yeah, like when I first started, we would, we'd see the pregame speech and everything, and pray with the team, and then we had Elson had them wave the red towels, so we passed out all the red towels and then ran out with the team. So we got to see pretty much everything pregame, and then sidelines and everything else. We saw and halftime and all that was part of what I was doing. So I saw a whole lot of the game day, and then as during practice and stuff, we're directly interacting with the players, so you just kind of learn stuff.
Oh yeah. Were you there when they first started the sledge?
Started the what now?
The sledge. Do you remember they bring the sledge? Elson
no,
did that.
I remember Elson said that, and then I remember they used to ram that sledge through the opponent's helmet right before the game. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Dude, can we bring that back? That sounds great.
Now, see, it was great.
I mean, you talk about getting fired up, man. That was pretty cool.
Well, of course, I don't know if you remember this or not, or if they talked about it when you were around, but before, let's see, I think it was Florida, one of the first few ones that I got to go on, a major school, and they did not do the little drill thing under the top of the helmet, so it didn't bust easily. Dude, that thing shot off like 6 times. It was hilarious. And all the players are
I heard about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that was 08 or 07. I'm not sure. I don't remember when Florida was.
That's pretty wild. So you had to drill a hole to make it break easier.
They didn't drill a hole straight through, but they would do a circle,
weaken it, yeah.
and they would weaken it, and then I want to say it was like Cody Hughes or somebody got to do it. And what they did was he ends up smacking it down, and all I can picture right now is everybody with their arms back because this thing is flying off the walls.
Yeah, so
it was hilarious.
I'd like to submit a petition. If anybody's listening, let's start this Twitter campaign to have them bring that back because that's fantastic.
I may have the video of that.
Well, I don't remember. If you find it,
I will have to look. I will.
But yeah, so we talked about national, kind of in the conference. I mean, we know that we're just going to say Top's big win in the conference. It's our first win. It's a huge momentum builder going into next week. In state, as far as now, I know in state for losers, you got to talk about how just bad Louisville is.
Yeah, of course. Louisville's a grad, so
make a bowl game.
Yeah. Jake is a Louisville graduate, so I kind of let him talk about Louisville.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing for those of you who listen pretty frequently.
Trying to lose, to be honest, but whatever.
Yeah, so I spent 5 years or 4 years of undergrad at Western, and then I spent 3 years at law school at U of L because Kentucky waitlisted me. So I said to heck with you, I'm going to some place that wants me. And so they're kind of so I listen to ESPN Louisville a lot, all that fun stuff, and boy howdy. Bobby Petrino, dude, I don't think he cares anymore.
I think you're right. I really do. I think he's wanting to get fired and get that buyout. Because he's set till 2021, and I think
2020, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, what was it? We figured the other night it was.
So there's some back and forth on that. It looks like it's 12 and some change for the next 2 years.
Okay.
And then the 2020 season it drops to 8, and then in 2021 it'll drop down to 4 and some change. And it actually, interestingly enough, his contract is such gold because he gets a $50,000 raise at the end of this year.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you, boy Jurich, for that.
Yeah,
dummies.
And of course, Kentucky beating Mississippi State and getting the $100,000 fine for rushing the field.
Wait, did that happen?
Yes, you didn't hear this.
No.
Of course, they didn't really rush the field. They rushed the end zone and tore the field down.
So I got to pay $100K for that.
$100K. Got to write a check. Which I think it's kind of worth it. They beat a ranked team.
I've rushed the field twice at Western. Both Conference USA championships. My drunk butt stumbled over the side there in the student section. And I remember, so here's a fun one, Matt. Since I first time talking to you, this one is good. We actually, a buddy of mine, snuck into the locker room during Dowdy's last year. And he just was, we had a few frosty wheat colas, and my buddy, who's a lot taller, a friend of mine, was like, let's just grab my shirt and just follow me. And I'm like, okay. So I lock onto him like a little baby elephant, and he just drags me in. Because you know how it is. It's a mess. Everybody's excited. The players' families are going in there. The players are going in there. We got pictures of prom and Dowdy. And then after we got a selfie with Dowdy, it was probably a manager campaign was like, hey, are these your people? And he was like, nah, dog, these ain't my people. And then they quietly asked us. I've still got a picture on my phone where they asked me to take a picture of them, a crew of them, just sitting there, some of the secondary. I was like, okay, whatever. Yes, I can't say anything Russian because I've done that twice now, so.
Now, one of the first times I remember rushing was the first time we beat MTSU. Was that 07 or 08, man?
That was 07. That was the year we went 7-5, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's when I was in high school.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm an old dog. That was that was the OT. We went in overtime, and Bobby Rainey ran it in. And
that one. Oh, you're talking. That was 20.
Now that was at their place too.
Yeah, that was at Middle. That was 2011, I think.
Was it 11?
I was looking at that
because that was like in the street.
We're comparing the 2011 to 2018.
Yeah,
and that was when Bobby.
Now see, I think Bobby did the other one too. With Elson, because this one was with Elson. I may be wrong, but
Elson. That was the one with Elson was 07.
Yeah,
and then the Bobby was 2011.
Yeah,
so
but yeah, that's man. I'm telling you, just crazy memories coming back now.
Yeah, rushing the field is a lot of fun. So yeah, that's in state. And as far as winners and losers within the team,
within the teams, I think you got to give a big shout out to Joshua Samuel.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think he did phenomenal. That even the last few drives, even all through the game, really.
But especially the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the rushing attack as far as offense goes is just phenomenal. You can't beat the way the Tops are running the ball right now. Do you have an in-team winner, Matt?
Yeah, I had. I had the offensive line. I thought they did a really good job. I mean, they gave up, one sack?
Yeah.
And the running game was like 190 yards. I mean, you talk about how young they are and everything and how horrible they were last year. And, man, they've improved a whole lot. And that main game, obviously they gave up 6 sacks, but I think every other game they've done a pretty good job. So
yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see how they end up this year.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't say horrible. I would say inexperienced. But yeah, I agree.
They got 6 sacks against Maine?
Yeah,
that's bad. Anyway, you slice it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that was just the defensive scheme that Maine had, trying to confuse and random stunts that they had going, and I think a lot of stuff like that was their problem.
Terry Obie on the radio show said they were running bear the whole game, so they had a 5-2 front. They had 5 guys up front, and they were just stuff in the middle.
Oh yeah. And
I mean, you got 5 offensive linemen, 5 rushers. It's kind of hard to keep track of everybody. So,
yeah. You're absolutely right.
That was the key there.
What about your loser on the team, Matt? You got a loser from the Tops last weekend?
Well, I mean, Devin, I know you talked about it in one of your articles, but the defense overall was, especially tackling, was kind of. They got loose on a couple of them, and I thought that was a big one for me.
Now be careful, Matt.
Overall defense.
Careful, Matt. You don't want anybody getting mad at you on Facebook or Twitter, okay?
That made me giggle so much.
Yeah, I laughed about it too.
My baby.
Yeah, basically is what it sounded like. I should have mentioned it in the article, and I didn't even think about it till after. The guy is correct in one aspect of his argument, but at the same time, they did hold Ball State to 20 points, but they gave up 400 yards. So for me, that's hard to justify saying, well, they did awesome.
Well, that underneath passing game, and that's something me and you were talking about during the game. They could move the ball at will with those short little zip, underneath passes. They were always in space and open. And it's just like, guys, I don't know if it's what the calls that you guys, the scheme that you're running right now, but close up on them, man. Yeah, see,
I think it was a lot of zone coverage going in there because we had at least 2 corners and a safety dropping back. As far as the other guys, I'm not sure what they were doing as far as mid coverage or whatever, but it always seemed like at least 10 yards guaranteed. And then of course their running back Huntley, he went as far as he wanted to. Really, he did whatever he wanted to all game.
Yeah, exactly. And Ball State runs like a weird, they run a spread, but it's almost like a spread's usually get the ball out, throw a screen kind of thing real quick.
Yeah.
But they're kind of methodical with it. It's kind of a weird, slow spread.
Well, see, and that was another thing I told Jake. They did a lot of outs and across the middle stuff too.
Yeah. It wasn't just like you expect 10,000 screens in a spread, and it wasn't that. So it's kind of puzzling why they're giving up. Showing such a cushion.
Oh yeah, but
what I thought was it was kind of almost a tale of two halves, right? You got this first half where they're just able to run whatever they want, they're scoring points, they're moving the ball, and then in the second half things kind of tightened up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if Western's adjustment just did that much better, Or, I don't know. I mean, if it is an adjustment thing, that's a plus for the coaching as far as that goes, because that's something we really haven't seen.
I mean, you guys have been around at halftime. Matt, what does it look like in a locker room after you play poorly in the first half? Like, what does that look like from like an adjustment standpoint?
Well, like when I was there, they would basically, you go in and depending on how good it's been, I mean, they're either excited or pissed or whatever,
Yeah.
and the coaches go kind of to a back corner somewhere or in another room or however the setup is, depends on how much room's in the locker room. But they'll go and they'll strategize their stuff, and then the players will be talking, they'll feed them and all that stuff, and then they come together and they go to position groups, and they're talking about different things they need to do and all that stuff, and then they come back as a team and talk about offense, defense, and then they come back and the coach gives them a speech or whatever, and so it's kind of a multi-layered thing, and 15 minutes, it's a lot going on.
So that's a lot in just 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that they actually give them like pretzels, bananas, Gatorades, basically to rehydrate and re-energize at the halfway point.
Trainer, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I figured you'd give them bananas.
Yeah.
That's like the
banana, man.
Yeah.
Well,
And of
I don't know
course,
if you heard like spitting gum in your hand and stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember Nick Bosch?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay,
Well, Bosch.
Yeah, Bosch had this great tradition that he started. I think it was my last year. He walks up and he's like, "Hey, Dev, can you throw this gum away for me?" And I'm like, "Seriously?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I grab a glove, and I'm like, "All right, just spit it." And he spits it into my gloved hand, and I throw it away. Well, after like the first week, I think we won. And he's, after that, he's like, "Oh man, we can't break tradition." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, I'm gonna put this in your ear. Boss.
Yeah. Come on, Bosch. Of course, yeah, you know how he was. He was a hoot. I love that guy. But
Bosch is one of my favorites. He was a good guy.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think he had a lot more heart than actual talent. I mean, he wasn't like a Bobby Rainey or Antonio Andrews. I know that sounds bad.
Came in as a lineman, right? He was undersized lineman.
Yeah.
And they ended up putting him as a fullback, so you think this guy's going from O-line, he's not going to be able to catch, and he could actually catch the ball better than some of the other fullbacks and running backs.
Yeah, he was.
So he had some pretty good hands for an old lineman.
Wasn't he from St. X or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was St. X.
Or was it Manual? I don't remember. It was one of the two. Louisville Manual or one of the others.
Trinity or something.
It could have been.
I'm pretty sure it's St. X.
Well, cool.
Yeah, but yeah.
St. X produces some good football players every now and then, man. They're a good program. Though I am happy to see Kevin Wallace lose just because of my anti-Bowling Greenness.
Yeah. But talking about halftime, I mean, that adjustment at halftime, I mean, it made a big difference. And like Matt said, it depends on the coach's mood as far as how much expletives can be said in a halftime speech.
Yeah, and in my article, I'm sure I know you said you read it. I was talking about the Indiana State loss, and that was one of the most memorable ones because, I mean, we're coming off a 2-10 season, and we're hoping to make a jump or whatever, and we're getting blasted by Indiana State.
Which we had not gotten blasted by them before, I think was the biggest thing. Yeah,
and it's one of those things, you're playing FCS, like you're hoping this is a game you can get going, get some momentum, and it's kind of awkward start. Like I don't think I mentioned this in the article, but I think the first play on the kickoff, there was some kid for Indiana State got hurt, and it was like this real awkward, like 5 or 10 minute delay, and they had the ambulance come out, and it just kind of like stole all the energy.
Yeah.
And then Dowdy, on the third play of the offensive drive, blows out his ACL, and then it was like one of those things. You plan for Dowdy, you plan to have some energy and all that stuff, and it went south. But in the locker room, though, I just remember, I know Jack Doyle and Jamarcus Allen both got up and they were saying stuff, and I think Jamarcus was more emotional. I mean, he was like borderline crying and screaming and stuff, and it was pretty powerful. And they, sometimes like in some of those teams, I'm thinking about like, you got to have a vocal leader in there that's really willing to say stuff and says the right thing at the right time. Because if you got somebody that's coming in just blowing it up, well, that doesn't do any good either. But hopefully you got a guy that has some perspective. But it was just interesting. That was really a powerful moment. And there's times that you can just tell, okay, that nothing's going on here. It's a struggle, you know. And then sometimes you think that, and then you come out for second half, and they just blow the other team over. So you never know. But those halftime talks and speeches and stuff were pretty interesting for sure.
So are any of them, in your experience, as good as that one Al Pacino speech?
None of those actually come to mind as far as, you know, the amazingness of that speech.
Okay, well, Sanford needs to step up his game then.
Yeah. All I can picture Sanford speeches are a lot of bros and...
oh my gosh. Did you hang around him very much, like in 2010 when he was here?
Was he a bro dude?
I don't know if you...
He was quarterback's coach, and I was with wide receivers, so when they would do routes and stuff...
oh my gosh.
I got to deal with him a lot more.
No, they shorty, bruh. Hey, we were essentially one time. It was a horrible looking day in the sky. I mean, it was terrible. And he looks up at the sky and he's like looking around with this kind of interested look on his face, and he's like, "Perfect day weather, dude."
Oh God! I was like, man, you spent too much time at Stanford, man.
Yeah,
dude, that's a nightmare. Okay, so good to know him in the visor. He is a bro dude.
He is definitely a bro dude. He cracks me up though.
And he may have grown up a little bit. Like he was 28 when he was here. I think 28 or 29. So he's like my age. So I know I need to grow up still. But,
we'll never grow up. I mean,
But anyway, he it was an interesting. Sometimes I was his manager, so I was around him all the time.
Yeah, coaches and managers, for those who don't know, have a lot closer relationship than people know, because you've got to set up drills for them, you got to have stuff ready. They want this, and this out, and of course you know that better than anybody.
Oh yeah, and it was just. I mean, I don't know if there's anything about him that was. Except the bro stuff, and he tried to fit in with K1 and stuff, and it was just funny. He started, "Hey, bruh," whatever, man. Just do you.
I just can't picture him and K1 Jakes just chilling somewhere.
I'm just thinking about him in his oversized polo and visor, trying to hang out with K1.
Well, see, and
old Mike Sanford, man.
Oh my gosh,
there was one time. That was the year. I don't know if you remember this, Devin, but I didn't really broadcast it, but I had mono, and I went to practice.
So you could have given the entire team mono.
I was struggling. I was white as a sheet, and they were like, "Matt, are you okay?" I'm like, "Man, I got mono." And Sanford's like, "Mono Matt. Mono Matt. Showed up to practice with mono."
Oh my gosh. No, I did not. I didn't remember that.
Dude, that is excellent.
Let me tell you, one of the best memories I have of Matt was his freshman year. The grad was Casey a grad manager at the time?
Yeah.
When he basically hazed y'all and forced you all to do your haircuts. Matt had long hair, and they did the Ben Franklin. Yes. And then of course Matt.
You can find that on Facebook.
Yes, and then
of course it's on there.
Yeah, it's on there somewhere.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If we retweet this, that might be your photo. That might be the picture we share.
Yeah, if we can find it, we'll share that.
If I can find it.
It's all good.
Let me tell you, the funny thing is, after that first year, Matt did it every year.
The Ben Franklin.
He would do the Ben Franklin, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Well,
That's
until I did it. I guess I did it while you were there, and then when did you leave?
I left in 11. The fall of 11 was my last season.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember. I think right around then was when I stopped. Once Taggart left, Petrino wasn't gonna let that happen.
Yeah, he was really no nonsense.
The guy that took over for Mark Harris. So it kind of died there. I think the last year, I had the Ben Franklin for all of camp, and so because we would shave the top of my head totally bald, like
Yes.
down to
Yes.
nothing. And it was sitting there for like 2 or 2.5 weeks, and finally, like the top was starting to grow back, so it looked real foolish. And I finally just shaved it off or whatever, and Willie was like, "Man, what you do, man? Why you?" Hey, well.
I love it, dude.
That's one thing about, I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you remember Willie or whatever. And especially when he first started. Man, you could not understand what that guy was saying.
Not at all.
And,
no.
Oh, my gosh. And it was like one of those things, the first couple practices, he blows the whistle. He's like, "Whoo, how, hell, ho."
And y'all are just looking around going,
no
what?
idea.
Now,
And
see.
we're like, I think he said maybe 7-on-7. I don't know.
Well, see,
And then we start running, and they're like, he's like, "What are you doing?"
it was, yes, he was the
South
Farmer
Florida?
Fred equivalent of.
South Florida guy.
Oh, man, it was rough. And finally, you kind of start figuring out his language a little bit. Man, it was rough.
So Matt, is that what's wrong with Florida State? They just can't understand what he's saying?
That's what it is.
I mean, he's in Florida. He's probably got a lot of guys that should be able to understand him. So
That's true.
They should be able to translate at least.
I think he got better. Like, he definitely, his first year as head coach.
Yeah, ain't no way Oregon
like
knew
in
what he was
interviews and everything, you couldn't understand him.
Well, and a lot of Willie's problem with interviews is he didn't really open his mouth. He just kind of was like, "Yeah, I think the offense is doing really well."
Got a little tired.
I loved it. But, and of course, and one of the things that I remember right before Willie got there, it was, I won't say that the whole locker room was down because everybody wanted to do better and wanted to win, but at the same time, once Elson was gone and everybody knew it was going to happen, then talk started happening that what's going to happen around the locker room, and then it was, well, Willie's coming back. Willie's coming back. Because he had been there when I first started. He was there in 2006.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and so when he came in, and so everybody kind of around the training room, Doc, he's like, "Okay, everybody, you cannot call him Willie. He is Coach Taggart." And we're like, "Oh, yeah."
Oops.
But it was a lot of good times there. A lot of good times.
Oh, Willie T, man.
Gotta love it.
He was awesome. I loved him, man. It was a good time with Willie T.
Oh, yeah. You gotta love Willie T. Coach T. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
It's good to have read that and then now have a sound to it.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Of course, I always enjoyed when Taggart would come back for the alumni game, too. And then he would be like...
Is he coming back for the alumni game?
I don't know if he's coming back this year, but before he coached, he did.
He's coaching. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Sorry, guys, I'm going to take his weekend off. I'm going to go back to my alma mater.
I mean, he might as well. I mean, it sounds bad, but Florida State's not doing as well.
I did hear they were talking about, again, some other shows were saying how towards the end of that Northern Illinois game, that he put some of his younger players in, and there's this big divide in his program between kind of the older guard who didn't want to see Jimbo leave, and kind of these new players, like you said, they kind of got the quote juice and started to actually play with some energy because they got a shot. Yeah. So we'll see if some of those younger players can turn around for Willie this year. I don't have to call him Coach Taggart. I don't work for him. I'm gonna call him Willie.
No. Yeah, of course. I remember him. He was coming off the field one time, and he's like, "Hey, Docky," and I was like, "What did he say?" He's like, Doc's like, "He wants some ice."
Dude, you just made him sound like one of the dudes from the Waterboy.
That's Farmer Fred, yeah. I mean, but seriously, it was like... Of course, the worst part about the whole thing with Taggart, and I mean, I loved him as a coach and everything, but he wanted everybody to run. Trainers, managers, everybody had to run. And we had these, 100-pound water boys to drag on a dolly across the field. And you're like, what the hell am I going to do with this thing?
That keeps you in good shape.
And you're you're dragging this thing, and then if you try to turn just quickly, that whole thing just dumps. And there goes water and everything just everywhere. I remember we've had a couple of the girls dumped them, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we've kind of talked, in an on and
We've
off
gone
sort
off the rails, but it's
in
fine.
an on and off sort of way. No, these are great stories.
I'm sorry, that was probably totally my fault.
No, that was, dude, those stories are awesome. I mean, they're way better than a game recap for sure. Because, we all watched the game. So I think we could go ahead and move to, like, talking kind of about Marshall, talking about the rivalry, talking about kind of expectations going into this game. I could tell you, almost fighting some drunk Marshall fans.
Yeah.
When
was that? When was that?
It was the Brahms... And Brahms last year was the 60-6, right?
Yes,
Or
I think you're right. Yeah.
So it was the year before that. It was like Brahms' second year.
Okay.
It was because it was at home.
Okay.
It was at the house, and we were putting it to them pretty good.
Yeah.
And these drunk Marshall fans were just razzing me. And I asked it was funny because I asked an honest question. They were talking about, well, history this, and we're so good, and you guys don't have any history of these bowl wins. And I was like, well, what bowl wins do you guys have? And then he was like, what bowl wins do we have? I was like, dude, literally, I just didn't know because I haven't been in this conference this long, and I've never watched We Are Marshall, so I don't know. And he was like, well, we beat Maryland, and I was like, okay, you beat Maryland. You and the entire rest of the Big Ten. They said, like, okay, yeah, everybody beat Maryland, cool. Like, what? And then I got a lecture, and his drunk son almost fell on me, and it was a whole deal.
And I almost got dragged into it because this guy's swelling up on Jake, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this ain't happening.
Well, and I'm not a large man. I am not a large man. I am a small fella, so it would have been me being like, hey, Dad.
Little help. Oh, my gosh. It was ridiculous, though, and it was just like, it was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's looking back on it, it's like, really?
But, I mean, so going into this game, right, I know going into this season, well, everybody's pretty high on Marshall. They look like the defense is going to be pretty stout. I mean, we're looking at the power rankings right now. It's 69%. Nice. Win percentage they've got for Marshall right now, which God knows what that even means. But
well, the spread's only set at 5.5, so...
Which honestly surprises me. I haven't looked at the Sagrins recently.
Is
but
it 5.5 now?
That's what it's... ESPN's got us at 5.5.
It was at 8. It was at 8 when I looked at it like yesterday or the day before.
Now that's
So
interesting.
I guess people are betting on the tops a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, but got some big money
That's
betting on
interesting.
tops. But yeah, I agree
It wasn't
completely.
me. I don't have any money.
Yeah, right. Well, and my thing is, so I was actually trying to, because I haven't paid attention a lot to Marshall this year. We've had our own woes to worry about, but you start looking at them. I don't know how to evaluate them, to be honest with you, because they beat I don't know how good Miami, Ohio is. Aren't they like a MAC favorite this year?
I don't know. Are they?
I don't know. I think I heard a radio show trying to brag about that they were a MAC favorite. I don't know. But okay, so maybe they're halfway. EKU's not any good. They got rained out because of the hurricane at South Carolina, and then NC State's is a pretty decent team, so it's hard to really appropriately evaluate that game too. So this might be the first actual game Marshall has to kind of see what they're made of.
Of course, if you just going down the list, looking at total yards, Marshall's got 378. We got 392
for their last game. Or?
Yeah, well, that's just total altogether. That's an average. I'm taking it. That's an average of total yards per game.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, yards allowed. Marshall sits at 377. We're at 378. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're dead even.
It's kind of very similar. Both teams seem to be pretty similar. Like, I was looking at some stuff, and it doesn't look like they can run the ball that well. Well, we've had our own running troubles. The passing game is decent, but not incredible. The quarterback is a little bit inaccurate. I think it's kind of a somewhat similar matchup. Seems like we got some decent defense.
Well,
both teams have a decent defense. So I'm kind of interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we've got Dontavian Jackson with 20 receptions and 284 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Matt, we're going to keep using his actual name.
Yeah, we like his
season.
given name.
Yeah, I mean that's just respectful.
That's right.
Exactly.
Just in case he may be offended by Lucky this whole time, he just hasn't spoke up.
Somebody ask him. We need to ask him.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody needs to go and tweet him and say, "Hey, do you prefer Dontavian or Lucky?" And actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but T. Brady is going to be playing receiver for Marshall this weekend.
Oh snap!
Yeah, no, I guess
he's
good.
actually supposed to be pretty good. I think Sanford was talking about him in press conference and stuff, and he was talking about how, or I think it's Clayton White. He was talking about, that's the defensive coordinator. He was talking about how he thought he was going to be the best receiver that we faced all year and all that. or that we will face all year.
Now, is this Tim Brady, or has he got like the fake mustache, or
Tire? It looks like
Tire.
Tyre Tire.
Old Tire Brady here.
Yeah.
Great name. Yeah, that's a Huntington name. Just saying.
But
seriously though, I mean, you're talking about the run game too. Their leading rusher is named, what's his first name? King?
Nice, Tyler King.
Tyler King. He's got 30 carries, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. Samuel, which hasn't really started very many games for us, he's got 31 carries, 161 yards, and a touchdown. For me, that's pretty even.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is.
I agree. I mean, I think, I was looking at the kind of keys to the game. I was working on something for the towel rack. I think we ought to win the ground game, to be honest. Like I was looking, we're a little bit deeper at tailback. Seems like we got more options. Furby's out, but we still got 4 guys that can carry the load. And they've only got a couple guys that are getting a few yards, and the quarterback's not a great runner. So we've got several advantages in the running game. I think we ought to win it.
Well, I mean, they've really only got 2 guys that are carrying the ball any amount. Between the Tyler King and Keon Davis, you're talking 30 and 36 carries respectively. The next highest is 15 carries for their quarterback.
For the quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, so that's either scrambles or botched plays or something.
Yeah, he's not effective. He's only got 32 yards.
4 of those are sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, just looking at Green here, he's throwing 820 yards, 6 TDs, and 3 interceptions. So that, to me, says, hey, he's been playing this whole time. And and luckily / unluckily for us, Western's basically started 3 quarterbacks in the past 4 games. So, it's kind of like,
we got options.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think, one thing I noticed, I was looking at the quarterback, Isaiah Green, he's throwing under 60%, but he's got a pretty significant amount of yards, and looks like he's got some pretty good receivers. Seems like they kind of help him out a little bit. So I'd be interested to see. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him really. But it seems to me like he's got some receivers that are making plays for him. Because they've got, like you look down, like I'm looking down the list of the stats, and they've got several guys, 30, along with 30, 31, 40, 82, 39. They've had some big plays in their offense in the receiving game. So
yeah, and
it's kind of interesting.
One thing I just kind of whispered over at Jake, I didn't realize this, but Green is a freshman. He's a true freshman.
Oh,
so that adds a whole other element to this game.
I didn't pay attention to that either.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. But I mean, for him to throw basically 50%-ish, 58%.
Yeah, he's pushing.
That's pretty
60.
good for a young quarterback of this caliber. I mean, but at the same time, you can really mess him up as far as pressures and coverages and stuff. You could trick him and throw some stuff at him.
I mean, he's got half as many picks as he does touchdowns, so that would be something I would really look for in this one. That could be something that really turns it. If you can get him into some turnovers early, get some pressure on him, that'll swing it real fast.
I really think that Conference USA is anybody's game.
Yeah, except for the West.
Except for the West. That's granted. But East is wide open.
Y'all think North Texas is going to run away with it over there?
I think so.
I think,
they just look
it seems
stupid
like
good.
It, man. They're really looking good. Thank the Lord we don't play them.
Amen. I'm glad they're not our cross-division rival every year. Thank God.
Preach, brother, preach.
Yeah. Didn't UTEP
I think FAU looks kind of human. I mean, last year they seemed to run away with some of it, but everybody was thinking that FAU is going to be this juggernaut, and they've seemed kind of vulnerable, I think.
I definitely agree with that. I thought coming into this season that the Fighting Kiffins were just going to run away with it. But you're right. They look, not immortal. Kiffins Convicts did not,
I don't think he's loaded up more convicts is the big thing.
Well, that's his problem. He needs to get more people that punch each other. That's what he needs. Starting bar fights and stuff.
Exactly. Now, the kid that was made famous by the Last Chance U, isn't he? No. Okay, yeah. Is he still there or not?
I don't know.
Now, that Singletary was there.
Yeah.
But I think the other guy's gone now. I think he's either moved on to the pros or whatever. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, of course, FAU, we're just looking at stats here. They beat Boston College, which that's not really much to brag about.
Boston College?
Yeah, 49-28.
When?
The 15th.
Did not
September, yeah.
Did not know that. What?
They lost to Central Florida, which was the national champs last year.
Hold on.
According to some. That's 18.
Well, I know. I'm just saying if that actually is Boston
Did you go
College
to
or
the
not.
parade? Is that apparently a legit parade they had?
That was a legit parade.
Didn't know if you made it down there.
No. Yeah.
They had
Lord,
a
no.
They had a parade?
Yeah, they had a parade.
Yeah, they
and,
had like the whole national championship ring ceremony and all this
Oh, God.
stuff in downtown Orlando.
Nice.
You know that's got to be like the biggest knockoff thing ever. Nope, I was wrong.
Yeah, that is the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. That is not Boston College.
That's what I said. I think they played.
I was like, they didn't play Boston College. Purdue beat Boston College last week. The
Oh
Boston
my
College won a
God.
better team than ACC, man. Yeah, so just so you guys are aware, that's Bethune-Cookman Wildcats.
I don't think that's buffoon. I think it's Bethune.
Bethune, yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like you're saying buffoon, but with a lisp.
They did play
You know,
Air Force.
Devin, you know Coach Woody was from there. Raymond Woody.
From Buffoon? Or
Bethune-Cookman, yeah. He was an academic All-American at Bethune-Cookman.
Are you serious, though?
Yes, I don't know.
That sounds like the greatest punchline ever.
Well, then speaking of FAU looking human, they let Bethune-Cookman hang 28 on them, so...
Yeah, that shows to me that their defense is still lacking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything
I
about
think that's my score, though. They're averaging like 45 a game or something.
Yeah, no, they had 49
crazy.
in that one.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can keep up with them when that time comes.
And I think, and of course, that was last year's struggle, was just staying with them.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That was so sad, that game. But yeah, so, okay, Marshall, Matt, now you don't have to give a prediction, because I know you guys publish yours on the Tower Rack. Everybody go check out the in-game predictions. So you do not have to give one right now, if you don't want to.
Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How about that?
Man, you know, I don't know. I feel like we're going to have to play really well. It seems like, I mean, they've got some really good talent. And it seemed like the way Sanford was saying it was basically, like one thing he said was, we kind of need to stay in it until the fourth quarter, and then maybe we can go win it. That's pretty much what he said.
I think he had a couple bros in there, but yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, hey, man, we need to...
Hey, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, oh, Sanford.
Oh, love it.
Good Lord. But anyway, man, I don't know. I'm going to have to say, I think I'd love to say that we're going to win, but I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those things we're pretty close, and I don't know if it's going to go the right way. I'd love to say, hey, Top's going to win by 90, but I don't know, man. I think there's a couple, like their receivers. I like their receivers a lot. And I think for us to win, we're going to have to win the passing game, and that's going to be tough. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a coin flip.
I think you're right.
What do you think, Devin? You got an official prediction?
I'll give my official prediction. I'm going to say that Western will. I'll do it. I'll drink the Kool-Aid. I think Western will win. I think it's going to be. It'll be 27-24.
Tops victory?
Tops victory by 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of the pessimist in this one. I typically am. I'm a little negative sometimes. I'm higher on them than I was, last week after everything fell out. But honestly, I think it's probably, like you said, Matt, I think it's pretty close to a coin flip. I'm going in 31-24 Herd victory and a heartbreak.
Okay. Yeah, if I'm going score, I think it's going to be a little lower scoring. Maybe it might be a kind of a weird game, 22-19 or something like that, 23-20.
Yeah, something wonky tends
That's
to
where I'm
happen.
kind of at. Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean I'm fine with that score too.
As long as we can win.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope to be wrong. I'd love, like you said, I'd love to see him win by 40, but we'll see. It's one of those things where, it's a blackout game. I know the players are really pumped for that.
Actually, see, Jake has turned me on the media guide on Western's website. And did you know that we're 3-1 in all black?
I did not know that.
Yes, since 2013, they've kept the records with our whatever our uniforms are. Our best record is white tops, red bottoms. I think we're 11 and something. Yeah, but yeah, 3-1, black on black.
Well, let's hope they make it 4-1. I'm all right with that.
It's like 75%, cuz.
Yeah, bro.
Dude.
All right, Matt. So,
awesome.
so we like to kind of, we get through the sportsy stuff, get to kind of some random crap. We've been doing this thing, ranked, where we try to talk about, our first episode was the best places to poop on campus. We've we've talked about all kinds of stuff. So this week, Devin kind of came up with, I think, a really good idea was tailgating foods. So Matt, give us your I don't know how many you came up with. You got 5 tailgate foods that your just go-to favorites.
5 of them. Well, I was gonna say, Devin, you remember when we went to Louisiana Lafayette, the game that we won?
Gosh,
the first game in 26.
Yeah, they fixed gumbo for us.
You were telling me about that.
Yes, oh my gosh.
That was amazing.
That was so good. And I don't even like the crap that they put in gumbo, like weird okra and corn. I don't even know what was in there. I don't like any of that.
You don't. Yeah, you just swallow. You don't. You don't ask what's in it. You just eat it.
Can we repeat just Devin saying you just swallow?
Yeah, I know. And it was it's one of those things. They're saying, and it's you're kind of skittish. I don't know what they put in there.
They start smacking it with a pot. Get back in that pot right now.
Man, it was amazing. Seriously, it was so good.
Okay, so gumbo is your favorite tailgate food. That's what you're telling us.
Well,
oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, of course.
Then we won right after, so it was obviously good luck too.
And that is what turned me on gumbo. No joke. That was my first.
Me too, man.
That was my first.
Gumbo, man, I'm going to check it out because of that. I'd never had it before.
Yeah, hey, I had never had it before, and I was like, they're like, we got free food. And of course, before the game, you're like, man, I ain't going to eat till, at least 4 hours after this game, so I got to do what I got to do. Yeah. So I was like,
let's tear it up.
Let's try some gumbo. Now, I don't know if you remember this. I think it was Kentucky. They do, I think lasagna or spaghetti. Do you remember this? Some of the managers will actually fix food for the other managers.
Oh, okay.
And that was one of the things. I can't remember who that was. I think it was Kentucky, though.
Listen, I'm here to tell you, boys, when I think tailgate food, I do not...
casserole.
I say, yeah. I was like, I don't think casserole or lasagna.
Here's
hash brown casserole.
We got a green bean casserole, squash casserole, potato casserole. Y'all just line on up here. Come on in.
Put me to sleep before the game.
Get you some of that, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Does he like brats, bro?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jake. I'll let you do yours.
I actually wrote it out because I like to eat. I may be a little dude, but so mine were number 5 brats. I like the cheesy beer brat stuff. That's awesome, easy to cook. I like when people show up, got the smokers, big barbecue thing. I like just straight up chicken wings and chicken tender. You go to Lee's or whatever, you get the giant box of just stuff. It's excellent. Sleeper pick, buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah.
Ladies will bring that sometimes. I got a buddy, his wife makes mean buffalo chicken dip. And my number 1 tailgating food is beer.
Well, that's not really a food, but I'll give you that.
I'll give it to you. The beer that I consume
I'm not sure
is
that counts.
Oh, it can't. There's some beer I drink that you got to chew, so I'm going to count it.
Ugh. I'm not a beer drinker, so that just sounds awful to me.
Yeah, me neither.
Of course, I didn't write these out, so I'm situational as far as food goes. If I'm at the game and I'm tailgating, I want finger food, so chicken strips, hot dogs, hamburgers, that kind of thing.
Lasagna, finger food. Yeah.
Lasagna, gumbo, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, if I'm at home watching the game, it's kind of wide open. I think last week we had lasagna. You came over and watched the game.
We did actually, Matt, legit. His wife actually made us lasagna.
Yeah, she was like, we don't have anything to eat in the house. And I'm like, well, what do we got to, cook? And she's like, well, we got lasagna. Okay, heat up a lasagna. Let's do it.
So I had Guinness and lasagna. It was excellent.
Of course, we do dips and chips, stuff like that, because you don't have to worry about getting shit all over you before you go in the stadium. But
football fans. Have you seen the berm? There's way worse stuff on those people than cheese dip.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, okay, so K. Roger Field, where UK plays, they actually have 2 new concession stands. I'm sorry, and one of them serves Thai food like ramen noodles, and the other one serves Heroes. Yay or nay on that?
So, I'll just go ahead and say that, ramen, when it's, freezing cold, I can see that being awesome.
Yes.
Because it's rolled like a hot bowl of soup. But,
like chili, yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, okay, I've had a few, again, let's say we've had a couple Guinnesses, right? And now you're giving me a bowl of scalding liquid.
Yeah.
To walk back to my seat. That seems like an accident waiting to happen.
Or even when you get to your seat, you're surrounded by people who have had frothy liquids, and they jump up and down and start smacking, and somebody's going to end up with ramen on their face, and it ain't going to be me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, dude. I like, as much as I think it's like
Valid point, bro.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. In theory, it's a good idea, but like when you start thinking of the logistics of eating ramen at a football game, we're like, nah.
Now a hero or gyro, whichever way you want to pronounce
I'm not
it,
great.
that's like a hot dog. So
You're
It's not a hot dog.
Gyro.
It's like a sandwich. It's not a hot dog.
but it's
Man,
it's
I've never had a.
It's like a wrap.
I've never had a gyro.
It's
you
just
have
a
to try it, buddy.
And well, I'm saying that when we went to, you remember we went to Detroit? No, you weren't there.
No, I
You
was
were
not
gone
there.
in 2011, right?
Yep.
We went to Detroit and they have Greektown. And
Yeah.
I'd never had a gyro before, and so I was like, I'm just gonna go in, and there's like this hole in the wall, and it looks like seriously like post-apocalyptic.
It looks like the Avengers when they're eating shawarma.
Seriously, like you could sit there and take a photo shoot in the streets. It was right around Christmas, and anyway, we go to Greektown, and I was like, I'll try one of them gyros or whatever. I had one, and man, it was so good. It changed my life. Now, like Arby's has them, and like, Geno's and Bowling Green has it and stuff, and man, I can't get enough gyros. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I know gyros, but I don't know about the Thai food.
Hey, Geno's, if you want to sponsor us, we'd be glad to put a spot in for your
Absolutely.
I
gyros.
love Geno's.
Absolutely.
we need to. I'm sorry. We need to wait till they sponsor us before we really plug them.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true. But hey, if they're listening,
Hey, we're slutty as far as sponsorship goes, so we'll give it away for free.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, just saying. I don't have anything else. Of course, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And don't forget, check out the Towel Rack. Jake and I have started writing for them.
Well, you have. I still haven't published anything yet.
Yeah, Jake's attempting to write, and he's
Yeah.
editing my stuff in quiet secret because I'm write like a 4-year-old. But Matt is a writer on the Towel Rack. He does an awesome job.
He is a
thanks.
statistician extraordinaire.
Yes, which really
Man,
surprised
I'm all
me.
about the stats.
Did you hear that, Matt? He said that surprised him.
Yeah, that really surprised me because I remembered you from college and the
I'm
dude
an idiot. Yeah.
who cried
I
after
understand.
wins and was really ecstatic about stuff.
You're blowing up his spot.
Yeah, I was posing the whole time, man. And
yeah.
This is the real me. I'm pretty much a loser. So,
Dude, we're all losers.
That's about
It's
to
okay.
say. Yeah, we absolutely are.
If you could see my man cave right now, you'd be like, "Yep, we all fit in just nice."
Yeah, just nerds. Just super.
there's the real Devin.
Just super
Oh,
nerds.
yeah.
Yes,
There
absolutely.
he is.
Well, Matt, dude, we seriously appreciate you being the first ever guest on Redout. This has been, I've about cried laughing at half these stories, so definitely anybody listening will appreciate this to no end. Hopefully the sound quality turns out pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. Thanks.
All right, we'll let y'all get out of here, and as always, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Go Tops.